Hello everyone and welcome back. Today's video is once again starting in a cafe. I know I have been doing that for the past 3 videos, shut up. But today's video, I promise, is different because I am going to chill out in the Starbucks and later go out to the rocks, which is right outside there, and talking to you about focal lengths. Specifically, which ones I actually like, such as, 35 or 70 or 135, and the ones that I don't really prefer. Anyways, I'm going to roll back time a little bit and show you the whole setup for this photo, though it's not very good, but it's still something, and I don't need to be in the sun, just basically suffering and dying of sweat. Anyways, I'll be back. Without further ado, let's start today's video. Alright, after walking for quite literally 2 minutes up here we are at the rocks. Well, I was at the rocks just now, but this is what you would think as the rocks vintage area. Compared to last year, I think I'm just gonna do the exact same thing with these houses. The pink one over here, it's the one with the most color, and this is probably the one that's gonna get me the most success rate. But I don't think I'll be walking up there. You remember that staircase from last year? Photo up here? It's not exactly very good. The lack of color kind of makes it a bad photo, and yeah, I think I'll just relax over here. Plus, I will likely be using the 7200 and maybe demonstrate how different it is compared to a 35 and explain why I'm actually using it. I'll see what I can do, maybe 100, maybe 135 or something, and relax for a little bit around this area because it's actually quite hot right now. Anyways, as usual, I'll do some B-roll and let's settle the shot. here we are with the first shot of the day. Well, I call the first shot, technically second, because I did one over at Starbucks, but let's call the first proper shot for today. Before I actually begin on the whole thing, a great place for me to record because there are a lot of tourists around here and a lot of cars. And some wind as well, which is my natural enemy. There were some Chinese tourists talking shit about me across the street, but we're not gonna, I'm just gonna pretend I don't understand them and just move on with my day. Now, before I begin, I'm just gonna say this. I actually moved my camera slightly closer to everything here because, well, if I were to follow what I usually do and just, not reposition my camera, you'd be looking at, I think of that, which is pretty far away, and I don't want things to fall down and me not being able to catch it, so I will instead move it slightly closer. So let's take a look at what I'm using. 70-200 f2.8 at around 80-90-ish millimeters. It's not marked on the lens because, it's between 70 and 100, but we don't really care. I really wanted to use 100 and 135, but it didn't look that great, and plus everything looked a bit too compressed. I'll go over why and what the difference is between 35 and what I'm using now later. So let's go over the rest of the stats first. F5.6 got I want some of the background and not too much bokeh, and also I'm the kind of person that likes some clarity. As opposed to all the other doll people who love bokeh, but I'm not going to dig any further. Anyways, vertical composition, because everything is pointing straight up with all the doors and everything and the fences and all that. It calls for vertical. I really want my wallpaper, but this looks superior. That's just the end of it. Though I'm putting a little bit of a Dutch tilt because I don't want everything to be straight up and it's going to look boring. So yeah, creativity, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, today I do not have my big flashes. Instead, I am taking a little break and just using these two LED panels because, well, I'm not shooting in direct sunlight and this is pretty much enough. Well, enough as in complementing some of the shadow instead of overriding the shadow. As I said, I think earlier in my videos, I like to manufacture a perfect situation, but, well, recently I just haven't been feeling that well, and, this is a lot more fun. Having just one tripod, some gear, some of my doll stuff, not everything, and just walking around, enjoying my day off. Anyways, it is time for me to explain what the hell is actually going on. Last year, I used 35 with this photo right up here. It's a good photo. However, it's not compressed. It's very wide in terms of for the doll, and also it's very postcardy-like. It's not a portrait photo. And typically speaking, with portraiture, you would use something at least above 50mm. I'm the odd one out of the bunch because I like to use 20. I like to use 35 and 50. 50 is kind of the not so popular option, but 85, 100, 135, so on and so forth is what you're looking at for portraits. And I've been trying to do that more because everyone likes seeing a doll, less so of the environment around it. I don't know why, it's kind of my style, but apparently it's not exactly well liked. Though, what I'm saying is, if you want to take more portrait photos, I do recommend something above 85. Do your math for APS-C, I'm not going to do it for it. Full frame equivalent, 85, 100 or above. That's just the general gist of it, so if you do have anything, leave them in the comments down below. Though, I do sincerely recommend you to try out some wider angle lenses or something at least not so typical of what portraiture or doll photographers do. Anyways, I think that's enough rambling, and these things are not exactly very stable without my big tripod, so let's take a look at the shot. And that's it. The rest will be done by AI. I do suspect some parts of the bag and some parts of the clothing that are clipped on will be removed by Adobe AI since, that's good enough. But the tripods, that gorilla part on the back, is still going to be rubbed out manually, at least for the time being. I'm not that confident in Adobe AI just yet, and plus, I love my good old stacking. If not, why would I even bring this big tripod? It's still light anyway. So, I think that's it for this spot. I'll complete the remaining B-roll and probably look around for another shot, though I do want to change these clothes out and get some new ones on, Dark grey, white-ish should be a pretty good match for what's to come. Let's move on. we're done with that shot just now, and I don't really want to stay at that area anymore because I have done the shot last year, and I think any further photos will just end up looking like the exact same thing. So instead, I'm just going to walk around the rocks area, which is right in front. I can't spin you around because I'm not on the Pocket 3, and see what exactly I can get. There are some areas around the place that are decent, but very, very crowded. So I'll try and bet if I can actually get a photo around there. If I get there, yeah, it'll be a bonus. If not, we are going to head to our next spot. Anyways, I'm going to put you on hyperlapse and let's go on to the rocks. After we walked around the rocks a little bit, honestly, there wasn't really much on offer, so we decided to cut our losses and come to the original spot that we should have started today's video. This is Martin Place, or more precisely, what's slightly below Martin Place, and some of you who have watched last year's video might be able to recognize this place. This one up here, it was not a very good photo, and the video also was not very good, because it was early time, and also early lemon doing a sunrise photo. And also explaining why I wasn't doing sunrise photos, but that's out of the question. Anyways, I am going to do some B-roll here and see what I can do, because around the corner it's quite crowded and there are tables along the way. So I am likely just going to use the shorter corridor over here like this and shoot with a 35 or 28mm. Open up the aperture to maximum and voila, that's your photo. So it shouldn't be too difficult, aside from the fact that, you know, this is a public street and there's going to be a lot of people looking at us. Anyways, as usual, some B-roll first and let's settle shot. With the second shot of the day, and honestly it is really nothing special. It's just that I want to test out a different focal length and a different approach to this place. A photo of the previous attempt up here, it was not a very good photo. And to be honest with you, last time I was here, it was after a sunrise and I was dying and I haven't had breakfast yet, so you kind of get why that photo wasn't exactly that good, though that is just an excuse. So this time, let's hope the photo is at least somewhat decent. Let's take a look at what I'm using. This time, no tripods, because I do not want to cause a lot of hassle and I kind of just want to take a break. So, hand holding the R5 with the 15-35 at 28mm f2.8 maximum bokeh, because I want all of this bokeh out and all the distracting background gone. So all of this should be quite alright, though I do have a little bit of concern because with the angles I am not exactly very stable. So no stacking, just AI with the back and all of that, well, mini doll stand stuff. I think you can see it on this camera. Anyways, a horizontal composition, vertical doesn't quite work out because I want to showcase all the stuff up above, and yeah, if I do vertical, it's only going to be this stuff. Now let's go over the focal length quite quickly. Why 28? 28 is a middle ground between 35, which is somewhat of an okay focal length, and 24, which is super, absolutely wide, at least for dolls. So 28 is one of my favorites, and plus with this you can showcase a lot more of the scene without distorting a lot of the background and a lot of your subject. At least that's with well-corrected lens, so I can't say for sure with every single lens. However, my Canon 28 Pancake does also do the job quite well, so I am not really going to complain. Now, for the lights. I originally wanted to have one light onto the camera like this, making my day easier, but apparently it's not going to work that way. So I have to hold it while I one-hand this camera. It's quite a big one to one hand. And one more light right over here. No flashers as usual as this video goes, and I think that's good enough because we're not dealing with very harsh sunlight. Anyways, that's enough of this one, and let's take a look at the shot. I would say it looks decent. With some Kodak 440 or 635 tone, it should look quite alright. Though not my best work, but I think that kind of demonstrates how different the focal length can be when I shoot absolutely different things. Same doll, but I think that kind of tells you how different a different lens or a different angle. What's the word? I'll just say focal length would be. Anyways, enough of this, and let's roll the outro. In your typical lemon fashion, I just found that I completely forgot something. I completely forgot about the reels for today, so I ended up just recording today's video without any virtual content. However, it's not like that is any useful, and if you've watched this point of the video, thank you very much for watching, because you've earned the privilege of not watching a single one of those absolute brain rot garbage. Because all of that is just an advertisement for the long form video, and if you like the long form content, that is actually way more helpful to me. Today we didn't really get to learn much because I didn't have much time to explain what my favorite focal lengths are and what my dislikes are. Because, in all honesty, I don't really think there are any focal lengths I really dislike. Well, aside from one that I have a slight opinion on, it's called 50mm. Everyone really likes it, but I just can't bring myself to love it enough. It's kind of between, you know, my gear, because I use a 15-35 and a 70-200. And 40, 50 and 60mm are missing in between. For me, I do think I don't really need that because I use an R5 and I can just crop in from 35 and just say it's 50mm, but in honesty I don't really like 50 in the first place, so that's kind of my opinion, but yeah, your mileage may vary. However, if you really had to force me to pick my favorite focal length, I can tell you one of my favorites is the 28mm. Which is this 28mm pancake lens. This has appeared in a few of my videos for now and is really good. Not only is it very sharp, I also get to crop in and simulate a 35mm, which is one of my favorites of all time. And this thing is, you know, look at that. It's really small and I really love it. Right now, my friend is doing his photo right behind me, so yeah, I'm using this time to record the outro, and I like my efficiency, so yeah, it's not the best place to record because of the echo and also a lot of people and also train outside, but who cares? You're just here for me to round out the video. Anyways, thank you very much for watching to the very end of this absolutely garbage video. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about, you know, the focal lengths, and did you actually learn something new? And if I should continue making this kind of format, I might dedicate a complete different video to focal lengths and explaining what I do with each different one, or at least the significant ones that I go over in a lot of my photos, so we might do that in the future. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Lemon, out.